Just announced. Princess Leonor marries Prince Christian, the royal moment that stunned Europe ring Spain. It was the news no one saw coming. A quiet morning in Madrid, and then, an announcement that shook Europe to its core. Princess Leonor of Spain, Prince Christian of Denmark, married. Officially, the world stopped. For years, royal watchers whispered about their friendship, their connection, their undeniable chemistry. But no one expected this. Not now. Not like this. Let's go back. Because the story behind this royal wedding isn't just about two young heirs, it's about love that defied protocol, timing, and centuries of royal expectation. From childhood meetings in royal gatherings to secret letters exchanged across borders, Leonor and Christian's bond grew quietly. Two future monarchs, two countries with rich history, and a love story that even their parents tried to slow down. When Leonor first met Christian at a royal summer event in 2019, cameras captured only brief smiles. But behind those diplomatic glances, something deeper began to unfold. Both heirs, both bound by duty, both raised under the weight of crowns they didn't choose. And yet, in that shared destiny, they found something rare: understanding. Over the next few years, the connection grew quietly. Private visits, discreet trips under the radar. Moments hidden from the press, but not from those who truly watched closely. The way Christian looked at Leonor during the 2023 Copenhagen Gala. It wasn't political, it was personal. Still, no one thought marriage would come this soon. Leonor, only 20, fresh from her military training. Christian, the charming Danish prince, still preparing for his royal duties. And yet, they made the boldest choice two royals could make: love first, duty second. Sources close to Zarzuela Palace revealed that King Felipe was deeply moved. He knew the challenges his daughter would face, the scrutiny, the expectations, the comparisons to her mother, Queen Letizia. But he also saw her conviction. Leonor had never looked so sure. Queen Letizia, emotional but proud, reportedly told friends, "She was born a princess. But today, she chooses to be a woman in love." Denmark, meanwhile, erupted in celebration. Queen Mary and Crown Prince Frederik couldn't hide their joy. Christian, their eldest, had finally found someone who understood both the crown and the heart that beats beneath it. The ceremony took place in Copenhagen, under the soft glow of autumn light. An intimate yet regal gathering. Only a few hundred guests, but every one of them knew they were witnessing history. Leonor walked down the aisle in a gown that stunned the world. Simple, elegant, Spanish silk with Danish lace, a union of two royal traditions. Her tiara, Queen Letizia's own bridal piece, reimagined with Nordic diamonds. As she reached the altar, Christian's eyes glistened. He whispered something only she could hear. And in that moment, Europe felt it: this wasn't just another royal wedding. It was a bridge between nations, between past and future. But the emotional heart of the ceremony came when King Felipe rose to speak. His voice trembled slightly. He said, "Today, I do not give away a princess. I witness the beginning of a queen's journey." The hall fell silent. Those words echoed across Europe. Because they carried more than paternal pride, they carried the signal of a new royal era. One led not by alliances or tradition, but by choice. The vows were intimate, deeply personal. Leonor promised to uphold her duties, with honor and love, guided not only by duty, but by the truth in my heart. Christian promised to stand, as partner, protector, and equal. For a moment, crowns disappeared. They were simply two young souls choosing each other. And then, cheers filled the room. The kiss that followed became the image of the decade. Cameras flashed, bells rang from Madrid to Copenhagen. The royal families embraced, tears mingled with laughter. Outside, thousands of people gathered with flags and flowers. Spanish and Danish colors waved side by side. Choruses sang in both languages. It wasn't just a wedding, it was a uniting of dreams. But behind the splendor, not everything was easy. Royal insiders revealed that the weeks leading up to the wedding were filled with tension. Negotiations about titles, residences, and protocol caused quiet disagreements. Would Leonor live in Denmark or Spain? Would she remain heir to the Spanish throne? At one point, advisors suggested delaying the ceremony. But Leonor reportedly stood firm. If love waits for politics, love disappears. Her words, now immortalized in Spanish media, became a symbol of her strength. For the first time, she wasn't just following the royal path, she was carving her own. After the ceremony, the couple made a surprise public appearance on the palace balcony. Christian waved with his usual charm. Leonor, radiant, held his hand. And then, she spoke. A brief statement, but one that shook Europe again. She said, "Today, we begin not as Spanish or Danish, but as two hearts who believe love can unite nations." The applause was thunderous. Across Europe, reactions poured in. The British royals congratulated them warmly. The Norwegian court called it a union of modern monarchy. Even the Pope sent his blessings. But the public reaction was even more powerful. Social media exploded with emotion. Millions posted messages of support, admiration, even disbelief. In Spain, church bells rang spontaneously in several cities. In Denmark, people filled the streets with candles. It was as if Europe itself had paused to celebrate love. And yet, behind the scenes, Leonor's parents reportedly spent the evening in quiet reflection. King Felipe, emotional, toasted to his daughter's courage. Queen Letizia, tears in her eyes, whispered, "She is stronger than I ever was." The following day, the royal couple released unseen wedding portraits. Natural, unstaged. One photo showed Leonor resting her head on Christian's shoulder as they laughed. Another captured them walking barefoot through the palace gardens after the ceremony. No guards, no crown, just love. Those images broke the internet. For the first time, people saw royalty as human. Flawed, emotional, deeply in love. The marriage also carried political weight. It strengthened ties between Spain and Denmark, two constitutional monarchies navigating modern change. Analysts called it the most symbolic royal alliance in decades. But beyond politics, it inspired a generation. Young people saw something different. A royal story that wasn't arranged or strategic, but authentic. A story that said, love still matters, even when the world expects perfection. Weeks later, Leonor and Christian began their new life quietly in Denmark. She continued her studies, while also preparing for her future role. Christian took on more public duties, always with Leonor by his side. Their first joint appearance after the wedding. A humanitarian visit to youth programs in both nations. It wasn't glamour, it was purpose. Together, they spoke about unity, service, and the strength of partnership. And those who saw them in person said one thing. They looked inseparable. Back in Spain, people began calling Leonor, La Reina del Corazón, the Queen of Hearts. Not because she ruled yet, but because she had already captured the heart of her people. Royal historians compared their union to Europe's great love stories, Victoria and Albert, Rainier and Grace. But this one, they said, felt different. Modern, equal, real. Months passed, and yet the fascination didn't fade. Every appearance, every glance, every shared smile reminded Europe that something had shifted. Royalty had evolved. And maybe that's what truly stunned everyone. Not the dress, not the crown, not even the announcement, but the realization that two young royals had dared to write their own story. At the end of it all, Princess Leonor and Prince Christian didn't just marry each other. They married two worlds, two cultures, two destinies. And proved that even in the age of tradition, love can still surprise us all. Because sometimes, the most powerful revolutions begin with a whisper of, "I do."